Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's video. My name is Stephanie. Welcome if this is your first week tuning in. Each week I do a forecast for the coming week that gives us some insight from the Akashic Records, as well as some Oracle card guidance and a crystal energy for the week. So this week we are looking at October 2nd, end of Mercury retrograde, yay, and October 8th, 2022. So if you stumble across this reading outside that time frame and the guidance feels relevant to you, it absolutely is, but that is the time frame we're looking at. And I did say Mercury retrograde ends on October 2nd, but we do still have a shadow period for a little while after that. I think until maybe almost the third week of October, around the 17th or 18th. So slowly making our way out of maybe the communication that has felt a little more dicey. We've had to watch our words a little more. We've had to, make sure our emails are getting where they're going, our texts are being received, not just the electronic communication, but the communication itself is being received properly. So I kind of like it. It makes it slows communication down, makes things a little more mindful. So, but for those of you who feel like it slows you down too much, we are moving out of that energy starting this week. So this week we will be using the Healing Crystals deck number 5. We will be using the Louise Hay Heart Thoughts deck for our Sunday energy, and we will be using the Denise Lynn Gateway Oracle card deck for the remainder of the week. So let's talk first about the 3 keywords. And these are 3 keywords. If you're new to the channel, these are 3 keywords that I channel from the Akashic Records while I am working in the records during the week. So I do private readings. I do work in the Akashic Records for those readings for the most part. That is what I spend the majority of my work doing these days. So when I'm at some point during the week, I kind of set aside some separate meditative time and channel some keywords to be of benefit to the collective. So they may not all resonate with all of you all the time. It might be that one does more than the other 2, or it might be that all 3 do. But my intention is always to connect with the collective energy and see what guidance can be provided for the following week. So we get a little head start on what's coming up. So the keywords that came out this week were stretch, adaptation, and growth. So stretch was just that things may feel like they are a bit of a stretch this week. So I also always ask for a clarification because, the keywords can be perceived differently, or, you might take what you need from them and somebody else might get something totally different from the same word. So that's perfect. And I like that it works that way. But the first one was stretch. And when I did ask for clarity, it was just things might feel like a bit of a stretch. We might be moving out of our comfort zone a little bit. As I always say, if you tune in regularly, I am not knowledgeable at all about astrology, but I do find it fascinating. I do have some friends who are astrologers, and I do sort of follow the moon phases and that sort of thing, but very loosely. I am certainly, I wouldn't even consider myself a novice, but just an enthusiast maybe. So stretch, it's always interests me how these keywords kind of connect with the astrology, how people will message me and say, oh my gosh, this is exactly what's going on in these planets this week. So I feel like aside from Mercury being in retrograde and slowing down communication and causing glitches and that sort of thing sometimes, I believe there were 6 other planets in retrograde, and maybe 3 of those, in addition to Mercury, are moving out during this time period or getting ready to. So things kind of beginning to spin again. And that's what that stretch energy is saying, that we're moving again. So we haven't been in a period of stagnation either. It's just been kind of, I think a couple weeks ago, one of our phrases was holding pattern. And it's just kind of been that energy. Well, this is where we're kind of stretching a little bit. We're waking up, we're getting back to business. And possibly moving outside our comfort zone a little bit. So it could be that just, the kind of stretching, waking up energy for some people, it could be the stretching outside of our comfort zone for some people. The second keyword is adaptation. And when I asked about that, it was sometimes I'll get a prompt to kind of check the dictionary definition, because that's what they're trying to convey to me in the records. And so the definition is the act by which one becomes better suited to a new environment, which I thought was really interesting to phrase it like that. The act by which one becomes better suited to a new environment. And so we're stretching, we're moving forward, maybe out of our comfort zone, maybe into something new. And what do we need to do to create that as a new comfort zone, for that to become our new way of being? We have to adapt. We have to be in the process of adaptation. And it's much easier when you are adaptable, right? So keeping that in mind this week. And then growth is what those things lead to, is what I was told. So we're stretching, we're adapting, and we're growing this week. I like it. So let's talk about our crystal energy. We have hemimorphite, which I love. Not super common. Connected to the throat, crown, and third eye chakras, so those kind of upper chakras, which again is interesting that we're moving out of a retrograde period where we've needed to really ground that communication and back into some kind of stretching, adapting, and growing. And this is about kind of taking in that intuitive, that higher vibrational energy, that intuitive guidance, and speaking it out or using it to guide us. So hemimorphites, 3 keywords are sorry. Growth is the first one, which is one of our keywords this week: peace and light. And it says, the mantra or affirmation you can use to work with this crystal, let me put it back up there again, is I heal through open and honest communication. So growth coming in strong so far. So then Sunday, let's talk about our Louise Hay Heart Thoughts card. And it is the I am willing to learn new things card. Well, that would exactly match stretch and adaptation and growth, right? I am willing to learn new things. I'm willing to adapt. I'm willing to stretch. I am willing to grow. So that is our Sunday energy. And it says, I love to learn and am willing to drop old concepts when they no longer work for me. Growing and changing is exciting. So I really feel strongly that if we stay in that adaptive energy where we're willing to learn new things, what does this say? I'm willing to drop old concepts when they no longer work for me. Growing, there's that growth word again, and changing is exciting. And it's much more exciting, and it feels much more like excitement and much less like fear when we are adaptable. So then Monday, from the Gateway Oracle card deck, we have the Breaking Barriers card. So this card says, I am expanding beyond limitations into joy and freedom. So there's same thing, our growth energy. And again, it's much easier to expand. It's much easier to grow toward the light, as this card depicts, when we are adaptable, when we're really willing to kind of, our keyword this year was unfurl. For all of 2022 was the keyword I channeled from the Akashic Records. So when we kind of unfurl ourselves and stretch up toward the light, it's much easier to grow and be adaptable. Tuesday, we have the sharing of yourself card. So this is interesting. It says, I am an incredibly generous being. So, sometimes we are the helpful person for others. I'm always going on about, being in alignment. We attract in these helpful people and the resources that we need, but sometimes we are that resource. Sometimes we are that helpful person. So knowing that Tuesday, if something comes up where you think, should I share this project, or should I share this story, or if I tell this person this, might it be relatable and helpful to them? This is a little indication that, yeah, consider doing that. Consider sharing of yourself. You might be that helpful person, that resource for someone else. And then Wednesday, okay, so I'm getting a message. Tuesday and Wednesday are really connected. It's the cherishing self card. So I accept and love myself is what this one says. But these two are connected. So Tuesday, Wednesday, we have sharing of yourself and cherishing yourself. So, sharing when you use your discernment and it's appropriate, beneficial, and helpful for someone else, but also cherishing yourself and paying close attention to what you need for yourself. Maybe you're in need of the helpful person. So it's kind of the message I'm getting for Tuesday, Wednesday, midweek this week is use your discernment. Know when you need to be the giver and when you should be the receiver. And then Thursday, we have communicating freely. I like this, especially as we're moving out of the retrograde. And the crystal energy with the hemimorphite saying, yeah, we're back kind of in those higher vibrational energies. We are connected to the throat chakra, but we're also using our intuition to guide us. It says I communicate from the depths of my being. So really kind of getting that, and that seems to have a lot of movement concerning communication too. So getting that moving again this week, stretching, adapting, growing, communicating. Friday, we have embracing the future. I love this card. I love the doorway on it for some reason. It says, I step into the future with an open heart. So it's just kind of, again, this is the energy we've been talking about over the past couple months about how we're moving forward. There's no, we still have our past experiences and lessons and what we've gained from those, but we're not living there anymore. We're walking through this doorway. We're kind of living in the new space that we've created for ourselves. And then, wow, Saturday already, we have the flying free card. I feel like this comes out a lot to wrap up weeks, because it's like, if we follow all this guidance, what do we get? We get a sense of freedom. I unfurl my wings and fly. What did I just say? The unfurling, I believe, was the keyword for 2022. So really kind of unfurling has a very stretching energy, right? We are just kind of handing it over and saying, okay, I'm willing to stretch. I'm willing to adapt. I know that's how I will grow. And what does this growth get me? I am flying free. I have a totally different perspective. I can see, because of my higher perspective, what is going to be of the most benefit to me and how I can be of the most benefit to others. So very much an energy of movement, stretching, adapting, growing, and then flying free. I like it. I hope you do too. If you want to connect with me for a private reading, or if you have any other questions about my work, you can always find my information in the description box below. If you haven't already subscribed and you do enjoy these weekly forecasts, please do consider subscribing, liking, sharing. All of that helps my channel grow. Have a great week, and I will see you next time.